Yo, what's going on, you guys, and welcome back to the Anime Plus podcast. This is your podcast for everything anime and anime related. If this is your first time here, I'm your boy Aray, and I'm with my co-host Aunn. Aunn, say what's up, bro.
Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? Yo.
Bro,
So yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God, bro.
I'm hyped, bro. I'm hyped. All I'm gonna say is hype. Okay. If you saw from the title of this episode, straight spoilers. We do not give a fuck. This is AOT time. AOT has finally ended. We're gonna talk about it. If you watched it, tune in. If you haven't, get the fuck out real quick. That's all I'm gonna say. That's how I'm gonna preface this. This is straight action. This is raw dog moments. We're
Bro,
gonna talk about AOT and we're gonna talk about everything we loved, everything we disliked, our experience, and how we interpreted the ending. I know everyone has their own little version of how they saw it. If they saw Eren as a bad guy, saw Eren as a good guy. There's a lot of different perspectives of this. So we'll tell you what ours is, and definitely tell us what yours are in the Discord. We'll leave the description down below. It's a very good place for for you guys to communicate with us, to communicate with anyone in the community, and also to find like-minded people that will watch the same animes as you and people that you could just generally talk about anime with. We're trying to build the biggest anime community ever. And even now, people in our community had watch parties going on for Attack on Titan. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. And yeah, let's get into it, bro.
yeah, no, honestly, man, this is our raw emotions, like how exactly how we're feeling. I know for me personally, I try to stay out of our Discord just for this, so we can record this pod. We're recording this literally maybe an hour or two after watching it. But yeah, I want to get our raw emotions and then we'll hop into Discord. But because honestly, man, there's so many different interpretations. I think we should start with like how we ended up watching it though, Owen, right? Like our experience, right?
Yeah, I mean it was a great experience. Do you want to go through it or should I run through it?
Yeah. So like I'll just say that I popped out to Owen's area. Obviously we do these pods over Zoom for the time being. You know, we're gonna pop out, link up together later on. But I popped out to his crib. And then we went to one of our friends' crib, and yeah, I would take it from here, bro. This shit, honestly, bro, this shit is kind of lit, bro.
So basically, imagine so AOT in the US, I don't know about in Japan, but AOT in the US was not in theaters at all. But shout out to my boy. He had a whole home theater in his crib, and we watched it with a couple of our friends, about like eight of us, and everyone watched AOT. So it was a good time, and it was sick this was the first time I ever watched anime on like a movie type screen, other than like a Demon Slayer movie or something. And I don't think I watched a Demon Slayer movie actually. JJK. The only movie I watched for anime was JJK, and I'm not gonna lie, I slept through it. But I know it's gonna get mad people tight. But, but yeah, it was a crazy experience. It was like the raw emotions that were going on during the actual show. I thought it was kind of gonna get killed in the beginning because like you have a lot of people watching it together, and some people talk, some people it kind of messes it up.
Yeah.
But when stuff got serious, I swear to God, it was pin drop silence in there, and you heard everything that was going on, and it was literally amazing. The experience was something that I've never felt before, and even after we watched it, we had like a quick little discussion on it, and we really cleared everything up for the people that were watching basically. But yeah, generally it was an amazing experience, and yeah, bro, I'm hype.
Facts, bro. Wait, before we get into it though, real talk though, what was your favorite part about watching it in that home theater?
My favorite part watching in that home theater was definitely the sound system.
Yeah,
Like, bro,
that's
I
crazy.
felt like I was in, like, I was on like a Titan, or I was like, it was such the sound system, because the speakers were like right behind us, and
Right.
it was basically just like booming into our ears. So it felt very immersive when watching it.
Bro.
And normally, like, I watch anime on like not even a TV, bro. I'll watch it on my phone or I'll watch it on my laptop, to be honest, and or my PC. But I really don't get that type of immersive feeling. And the closest maybe is when I have my headset on, but this was just a whole different dynamic, bro. It was insane.
Facts, bro. So first of all, man, the sound system was absolutely fire, bro. Like when they were like, I'm not gonna, yeah, we're spoiling, right? It doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah, bro, go all out, bro. Go all out.
The first part when when Yakupan was flying on the plane, I was like, oh shit, because you could feel like obviously you can't feel it, but you can hear it, and it kind of sounds like you're in a plane. So that was the first thing, and I was like, this shit about to get lit. The second thing is, bro, I was kind of tripping a little bit because I watched AOT with my wife, and she didn't come on this trip with me, so she didn't pop out. But I was like, man, do I gotta lie to her? But yeah, at the end of the day, he let me watch, bro. Mad loyal. I thought it was gonna be either. I was watching no like regardless, bro. I'm watching this regardless with the boys. You feel me? It was just a matter of do I tell her or do I act like I didn't watch it and then make some fake ass expressions when I do watch it with her. But either way, that shit was fun as hell. But yeah,
Now
oh
she came in clutch. She came in clutch, and she was like, "Yo, watch it with the boys and whatnot." And it was a fucking amazing time, bro.
yeah,
But
bro.
yeah, yo, let's get into the actual meats and potatoes of what was going on in AOT and how we interpreted the ending and what we thought of the ending. So, you want to go first? You want your perspective first?
We're going straight to the ending.
I just want just a okay, because the ending is the most important part. I think just just that very ending, the last portion. We'll get into the details of the whole thing. I
Mm.
think we should start off with how it ended and what we thought of just the ending, like just that end part of if did Aaron make a good decision.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. For me, I've been saying this since the very beginning. One of the reasons why I really mess with Aaron is because he makes the show so entertaining. It's kind of like Death Note, where obviously Light is not the like technically you can say he's not the hero. And there's some moral injustices going on, which is like obvious. But for me, I like when shit happens in the show because obviously it's not real. But whatever is most entertaining is what I fuck with the most. And that's why I was rocking with Aaron all the way because everything he was doing, I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. Bro is built different. He's acting a fool, like he's going crazy. And that was the most entertaining thing for me. So whatever the most entertaining outcome is the one that I was rooting for. And I mean, was your question like whether or not he made a good decision or a bad decision?
Yeah. Like do you think that okay, so just let me word this differently, right? Did he make a good decision in general? Do you think he made a good decision? That's one thing, right? But do you think that his decision was good for the show, like the way the show played out?
It was
Because
entertaining.
that's two different like questions basically.
Yeah. For the show, hell yeah, entertaining, bro. This is what I wanted, bro. Like, I know some people don't like it, but I totally enjoyed it because I wanted to see some hectic shit. I wanted to see some crazy out of pocket shit, and I got that. So I 100% agree that it was good for the show. Whatever Aaron's character was like, so I loved it.
I mean, for me, bro, like the okay, so his decision. Let's go over the general decision that he made, right? So, at the end of Attack on Titan, his possibilities, right? He had a couple of possibilities that could have happened, right? The first possibility was he goes with Zeke's plan and they just kill off all the Eldians, self-sacrifice, and everybody else lives, right? But that means in the future there will never be Eldians ever. That's the race is completely gone. So that's one scenario, right? Then we have the second scenario where he kills off 80% of the world, keeps the Eldians, destroys the Titan power, and basically puts a restart button on the world, but killing 80% of the population while he does it. So those are the two options, and I would say definitely if they chose the first option, like it's better, like it's more moral technically, but I don't think it's not good for it wasn't good for the show at all. I
Yeah,
think this second, like the decision he made the show so crazy because of the way he acted throughout season 4. It was like we didn't know what the dude was thinking the whole time, and we didn't know how deep he was in it. Like we didn't know how deep he was in it and how much of a facade he had to put on. Since the second he kissed Historia's hand, the dude had to put on a facade for the whole time. Like he was bullshitting his ass off to every single person even though we know inside Eren, at the end when Eren was like, "Oh, I wanted to live." He said he never wanted to die. He never wanted anyone to feel that pain. He didn't want he wanted to be with Mikasa. Like he said all these things. And he's a human after all, right? And we just saw him as this cold-blooded, genocidal, suicidal maniac that wants to kill himself but also wants to kill the entire world, but we didn't know why. And we didn't know the whole story. And that was always just like it was so puzzling. And that's what made it so good, because it kind of put the audience at polar opposites. People were like, nah, screw this guy, Eren, he's killing everybody. And then the other side is like, yeah, I mean, we do get it that his friends, have been treated like literal cattle. They've been just killed. They get they're portrayed and seen as literal devils by the whole world. And do they really get to deserve that, even though they haven't really done anything but suffer and really just go through incredible trials and tribulations since the beginning of the show? Do they really deserve that? And that's the whole dividing factor. And this last episode really just gave us all the context that we needed to kind of justify his actions, even though some people would say it's not justifiable. But yeah, that this last episode really gave us all that context. But in general, this is what I'll say about his decision and why I think it's so good. Okay, yes, he did. Yes, he did kill 80% of the population, right? The fact that that happened is very tragic. But if you look at the overall situation, I'm not saying killing 80% of the population is good, but what he thought of it is the way he saw it is okay. The way human evolution, human like the way this life cycle goes is that conflict is always going to appear, regardless of there's titans, regardless of how the technology is. There's been conflict since people throwing stones and rocks at each other to now there's missile strikes and cyber attacks. Like the type of conflicts are very different, but the fact of the matter is that conflict between humans is always something that is going to happen. And I think that was very emphasized at the last portion of AOT. If you guys did not watch the cutting scene, or like where they showed like the directors or whatever, and it showed that little square at the bottom right and how the world progressed after Eren died. That was huge. If you didn't watch that part, rewatch that part, because the context of that, even though it's such a small portion of the show, it shows that even after Eren died and there was no Titans, no like there was Eldians and Marlians, whatnot, there were still wars. Life was progressing. You saw all the buildings getting bigger. Technology was progressing, but yet again, everything got kind of blasted to smithereens again when the plane crashed into the building. There was like rockets and basically missile warfare happening, basically leveling everything. And I would say that's even more detrimental to the world than Titans can ever be. Like okay, one Titan, which was Armin, right? He had the Colossal Titan. That's one nuke. And now we have countries that have hundreds and or if not thousands of nukes, which is basically can kill the whole world. So that's kind of what Eren figured was gonna happen. So instead of there being a world of non-Eldians and that happening regardless, he was like, let there still be a world with Eldians, and that's gonna happen regardless. So yeah, that's like that sums up like his decision on why he made it, because the human cycle keeps on going. But yeah, what do you think about that?
All right, you kind of just sparked something in my head real quick. Low key, bro, it doesn't really matter what his decision was, because at the end of the day, they still went to war. You know what I mean? Like, and even if the Titans were around, honestly, like they had a scene where they showed well, this wasn't the whole season. This is like the whole season where Titans were getting clapped by missiles and rocket launchers and all that stuff. So like honestly, man, it didn't really matter if he did all that. Like all he really did was just clap 80% of the people. Like I mean, I guess he saved his friends and whatnot, but I don't know, man. I feel like at the end of the day, the outcome was the same. Like everyone basically, like a good amount of people died because of war. Like again, this is looking at the credits, and we have to assume a lot from what happened. It might have just been one area, but I mean, I highly doubt that. It probably was the whole world was just at war with themselves. And if you remember, the original people in Paradise Island, like you could see them starting to develop some military strength. They showed like a small little scene with that. So I mean, that kind of makes us all presume that they basically went into a war, all out war. So I mean, if Aaron's goal was for the world to not have war, then he obviously that it was meaningless because that's exactly what happened. But I don't really think that was his true objective. I think his true objective was for his friends to live and maybe prevent them from going to war. But I don't really think he gave a fuck about all the people after him, man. Maybe like the Titans and whatnot, but I don't think he gave a fuck because war is gonna happen. And I guess maybe the silver lining behind this entire series is no matter what happens, no matter what tools, weapons, philosophies, or whatever that it is that we all have, war is always going to happen. I guess the silver lining is it's war is human nature. Um, so I don't know, man. I don't know, man. But I don't know if it was like worth it. But
So this is the thing, right? Um, he wanted there to be an like he knew that yes, yeah, obviously there's gonna be wars in the future, and that's why he did what he did. That's why he killed the 80% because he was like the population is still gonna rise afterwards, and then it's gonna be the same exact thing that's gonna happen. So let me save my friends because regardless of whatever happens, there will still be wars afterwards. You know what I mean? So his whole goal was just to keep the Eldian race alive because they had nothing to do with like Ymir and becoming basically portrayed as devils. Like they never had anything to do with it. So like his whole thing was basically the wars are gonna happen, so I might as well save my friends. That's the whole thing. Um we were getting to a point where, as you said, that technology was getting um crazier than even the Titan powers, right? But that would have mean like if Eren didn't do anything, that would have meant that the whole Eldian race would have gotten demolished immediately, like within the next 5 years. So
right.
he had to make that decision. His future self had to make that decision right for them right then and there. Like if he doesn't do that now, the Eldian race within 5 to 10 years will be completely demolished, no matter what. You know what I mean? So that's why him making that decision then was perfect for his ideologies and whatnot.
Yeah. With that being said, did you like that? Because it's like,
So I liked it. I liked it. I liked it because first of all, it gives a very untraditional ending to an anime. We see animes where the MC is, the hero. He's the guy that saved everyone. He's the guy that gets to live and live a peaceful life and whatnot. And he's cheered on. But at the end, as the audience, we know, and only we know, right? Us and the Eldians, because and that's what makes it so good. It makes us feel like we're Eldians. That show, like the way they portray it, it makes us feel like we're Eldians because at the end of the show, only the Eldians knew what really happened. Only the Eldians knew, those select few Eldians knew that Eren was a good guy. He did this only for them. He spoke to them the whole time while doing it, but erased their memories. So he was going through it the whole time. He showed emotion through it the whole time, even when he was talking to Armin as a kid, even when he was talking to Armin when he was a bit older. Like he was speaking to them. He spoke to every single one of them except Peak. He spoke to all of them, but Peak. And it was also as if he spoke to us and everybody else in the world, the other 80% or now 20%, but still 80% of the world, um, didn't know anything. They still don't know that Eren's a bad guy. Eren portrayed himself as the scapegoat so his friends could be heroes, could be
right.
seen as heroes. And nobody knows that. Nobody knows that Eren was actually the good guy in this situation. And that's why I love it so much because the MC only gets the recognition from us as fans and he does not get the recognition from the world that he's in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that probably everyone listening to this has seen this meme where it's like, yo, comparing this to Naruto, where it's like Itachi decided to make himself a villain to save his village. You know what I mean?
It was like literally like the
Yeah,
perfect analogy right there. Like
exactly.
nobody knows that Itachi really saved the village except the select few people that really know what was going on. And this is the same thing with Eren, and he's the MC this time.
Right.
And the thing is, we didn't know that until the last second. It's like, yo, they kept and they kept portraying him as the bad guy. They kept portraying him as the bad guy for the whole time until the very last scenes where he's talking to Armin and he's talking to like Mikasa, but Mikasa made her own decision. That was the part that correlated with Ymir, where she couldn't make that decision to basically not follow King Fritz's will, and Mikasa went against her own will and just defied Eren. That was something that Ymir could not do, and that's what broke the cycle. After 2,000 years, that broke the cycle of an Ackerman or someone that's fully in love with the founding Titan, and him killing off the founding Titan. But yeah, just generally, it made us feel like we were Eldians. That's the best way I could say it, and I feel like that's what everybody feels, or most people feel. Honestly, when I watched the anime, when I watched the ending, and we've heard from like many people, because the manga's been ended for a very long time, so we know that people hated the ending. A group of people, or I don't know, was it a minority or was it a majority?
It was a majority, but honestly, man, we'll talk about our thoughts later on. But yeah, it was a majority of people that disliked the ending.
Yeah, so that really confused me, because I don't understand why they don't like the ending. Like, it makes no sense to me, because I feel like, okay, I feel like this is how AOT, the fabric of AOT is, right? I feel like um I feel like the author just kept throwing shit at us, and we didn't know what the hell was going on, but he gave us just enough that we could piece together what's going on. But at the end, he gave us the whole cloth. He gave us everything, and he knitted everything together. Like, we had fragments of here, we had fragments here, we had fragments there, but that last episode really just connected everything together and made sense of the whole thing. And I think the only thing that you could say is you could dislike is him killing 80% of the kid's decision. The decision is what you could hate, but for the show itself, I think the decision made the show very interesting.
Yeah, I think that, to be honest, a lot of people just dislike the whole Mikasa part, if I'm not wrong. Which we could talk on that if you want to own, because
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, like, like, my perspective of Mikasa changed immediately, immediately once once I kind of connected the dots, because if Mikasa gave in, right, to Eren, and did not, like, if she fell for him and she was like, fuck it, like, we're gonna fall in love. If you saw Eren, he wanted that to happen,
right.
right? And we don't know. Maybe Eren, would have succumbed to it and fell in love with her, and this would have never happened. The fact of the matter is, Mikasa is one of the mentally strongest people in that show, and she is the reason why that this even occurred, that this even happened. Mikasa is the standing factor that caused this to cause the ending to be the way it was, basically. And I really respect Mikasa for it. And I'm not gonna lie, for the first 4 seasons, I was like, why is she just Eren's slave? Why can't she just? And Eren was literally like telling her, "I do not mess with you. Just get away from me. Why are you always following me like a dog?" Like, he didn't say those exact words, but that's basically what he was telling her in season 4. Like, what are you doing? Why are you so obsessed with me? Like, get away from me. And that, like, kills. Imagine you love somebody and they say that to you, but Eren said that so she deters from him and she just gets away from him. And Eren was doing the right thing, but at the time we didn't know that. We didn't know why Eren was doing that, and we didn't know if it was the right thing. But the fact that Mikasa's mental strength was so high, it really just changed my perspective of her at the end of the show, and she is now one of my favorite characters, honestly.
I actually have a slightly smaller hateful take on that.
What's
Yeah,
up?
no, I fuck with Mikasa, like with what she did, but I feel like she was also a kind of a,
NPC.
not NPC, but like a not the best well written character. Just because, first of all, like you said, she was kind of like Aaron's little dog, like little bitch following him around, whatever. Which is fair. I mean, if you love somebody, you're gonna do whatever you want. Like you're gonna do everything you can for that person, right? But I felt like if she wasn't strong, like as like if she wasn't clapping Titans the way that she was, I feel like nobody would really mess with her like that. Because bro, Loki, she gives me Sakura vibes if Sakura wasn't strong, bro. You know what I mean? If she wasn't strong, like I don't know, man. It to me, it all came down to that final decision. If she didn't make that decision and she didn't do what she had to do, I feel like she would have been the biggest L character. I'm not gonna lie, man. This
Yeah.
small little hot take, bro, but I do mess with her though, just for clarification.
No, definitely. I mean, that's the exact thing that's the exact
Okay.
like
Word.
mindset I had for her. I was like, these 4 seasons, she's just been a bitch the whole time. Like are we gonna get something out of her? But that last scene makes you recollect everything that she's done, and it goes like, bro, if she just succumbed to her like love, then this whole show would have been done. It would have been beat.
Yeah.
To like Aaron would have never went through with whatever he went through with. Um, that's why that's why I love it so much, and that's why I love the author so much. He made us hate both of these two main characters for so long. Like obviously we loved Aaron in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
But then we got to a point where it changed. That changed,
I was
and
still riding with my boy. I'm not gonna lie, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I was riding with my boy too. Because I didn't really care. Like, it's kind of fucked up. I didn't care about the people dying, but I was riding with my boy too because I knew there was something in the back of his head. I was like, there's no way that Aaron just killing people for no reason. Like, I knew that there was something bigger. I'm not gonna say I like. Obviously, this whole thing caught me off guard. Like, we didn't know any of this stuff, right? But I knew that there was a bigger mission for Aaron, and he wasn't just doing this to 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 just end everybody. That made no sense. Aaron was the person that like he wanted to fight for freedom. He wanted freedom, but when he was a kid, he was never that type of person that
Mm.
like wanted to kill the whole world and was this hateful, spiteful dude. He was always the guy that was kind of encouraging people and you know being that type of cheerful person. So I was like, how do you change so drastically, so quickly, right? So I didn't really like believe it when he went AWOL for a bit,
Uh,
but yeah, the fact that like his name is Haji. What's his name?
Hajime Isayama.
Okay, Hajime Isayama, right? Like I'm just gonna say Isayama. So the way Isayama made us really hate Mikasa, and then at the end switch it up and like gave her all the respect she deserved. Like I love him for that. And the same thing he did with Eren. Like we hated, like most people. I'm not saying me, not personally, but most people hated him because we really didn't know what was going on. And then he just swooped in and literally gave Eren the biggest like award and the biggest like self-sacrificial moment in anime history. Like the self-sacrifice that Eren made was incredible, and I love Isayama for that, for keeping us in the dark. Like he kept us in the dark for so long, but he gave us just enough that we could go on with the story. And then at the end, he was like, "This is what actually happened," and like Eren is actually a G. Like, yeah, it was just perfect, bro. It was a perfect ending. Like, for me, I couldn't ask for a better ending. Like, he wrote it so well, and I don't understand why people hate it. Like, I just don't.
Same. All right,
It's
so we're pretty much in agreement that we mess with the ending. We love Aaron's decision, so we're pretty good off here. I have actually a couple other things that I'm gonna ask you because there's just so much like information and so much things that happen that even though it was only on the screen for a couple of seconds, we gotta cover it. So, first one right here. What are your thoughts on Mikasa? Like after the whole ordeal, like you see her getting buried. Do you think she ended up with another dude, or do you think she just died there?
so in the ending scenes, right? We see Mikasa visit Eren's grave,
Yep.
and we see her with so the way I saw it is as I saw her with one other person
Right. Yep.
standing next to her,
Yep.
and then I saw 4 people or 5 people in the back, which I would assume is
The whole squad, right?
I would assume is either the squad or her family.
Okay.
We don't know who that is,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So the way I interpret it is that yes, maybe Mikasa did what Eren wanted, and she got like the person next to her could have been Armin, we don't know,
Right.
or it could have been her wife, her husband, and I assume that it's her husband, even though that goes against Mikasa's traditional, love for Eren. I think um after it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard,
Here,
but
here.
I do think that she wanted to fulfill Eren's wish and get a family and like live her life the way she should have lived her life.
All right,
I
well,
th-
I'll
that's
play I'll play devil's advocate here. So we can say that's one way. And again, I guess this is another thing that's left for interpretation. I saw this fan theory that somebody just sent in our Discord. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of reading through it, and it makes sense to me. So that's one theory, your theory. The other theory is she had, so you can see her head when she was being buried. All right, she had no wedding ring, so that's one sign.
ooh, I didn't catch on to that. Damn. Okay.
She never removed the bandage on her wrist of that crest. So that's another thing. Third, she had a white flower which was placed during her death, which symbolizes purity and virginity. And obviously you can mention those four people behind her. I mean, that could have been just Armin in the squad, you feel me?
Yeah,
But
definitely, definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't know the part of the ring part. Actually, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, looking at it from that perspective, you can definitely. But okay, so we do know that there was somebody next to Mikasa though, and that could have been Armin. That could have been Armin for sure. Then and the squad behind them. I don't know. I gotta relook into that picture. I really gotta relook into
like
that picture.
I like
I'm
the way,
gonna make a video about that.
I like the way they did it, just because you can leave that to interpretation. If you want to say that Mikasa mad loyal and staying with Aaron even though he's dead, staying, whatever. I mean that's one cool theory. The other is like obviously she listened to Aaron's will and got a whole family and whatnot. So if you were rocking with Jean, because remember Jean had a crush on her. So I mean either way, you can just leave it to your interpretation and enjoy it however you like. Well, so I kind of mess with that. I'm not gonna lie.
No, yeah. I mean, it even though such a small aspect, he really gives us so much within that little. It's a 2 second scene. Like we see them just there for a second, and then it's a whole nother. Something else happens. But the way Isayama really gives so much for us to interpret, it's honestly mind blowing, and that was such a crazy scene. I do think that maybe so the way I want to interpret it is that she did get wed and she had a family and there's more Ackerman in the world now and
Uh,
not just
I'm a rock
huh?
with I'm a rock with the other side of the argument. It's not gonna, you know, it's tragic, bro. I like tragedy. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. I feel you. Also, that show loyalty. I don't know. It could show loyalty to Eren, but it could also show loyalty to Eren on the other side that she actually went through Eren's wishes and she said that like Eren wanted her to live this type of life, a good life. So maybe she
Yo,
respected his wishes.
I'm gonna hold you on here. We're gonna take a break, and I think we might make this a two-parter, just because there's so much more to cover.
Definitely.
All right, so I guess we'll catch you guys in part two.
Yo.
All right, peace.
Peace.